1, 2. Oops. Sorry. We don't have sound all that time, eh? Wow, good. Now the show has to start again. All right. Because I mean, if you missed out on a lot. So we actually just literally have to start again. All right. All right, again, we apologize for that. Technical hitches, they happen. But then I hope you can now hear me loud and clear, right? If you can hear us loud and clear. Ah, great. We are good, eh? We are good. Great. Thank you so much. Again, welcome to the very first episode of the weekly report live with me, Faraji Kevin. This is the very first episode, and on this show, we will be diving and talking about various and different issues happening across Africa, Kenya, and across the world. We'll be having great interviews, inviting people who have insights, who speak to the issues that matter. Now, this show is going to be wild. This is not a news show. This is the weekly report live with me, Faraji Kevin. On to the first story. Now, as we were talking about what has been happening at the AU. Now, let me recap that. This week, we've actually had the AU Summit. The AU Summit, this was actually the 38th AU Summit, which was happening at Addis Ababa. Someone actually said it was happening at Addis Ababa, and our candidate was Raila Amolo Odinga, aka All right, now, this is the African Union. The African Union was coined from the formerly OAU, right? Now, this is why some of us, we were actually a bit confused, the difference between the chairperson of the AU and the chairperson of the Africa Union Commission, AUC. Now, to explain this is the president of Angola. The president of Angola is the one who actually got elected. Rather, he was actually won the position of Africa, the chairperson of the Africa Union. Now, this is a rotational mandate, rather, from one country to the other that goes around every year. He was succeeding the president of Mauritania, Mohamed Ould Ghazouani. Yeah, he was succeeding the president of Mauritania. Now, the difference is now the AUC, African Union Commission. Now, this is the difference. There's the Africa Union, which holds the vision, and is actually the only people who can have that seat are actually the presidents. That's why it's rotational from one country to the other country every year. Now, the AUC Commission is the secretariat that is mandated to actualize and to speed up and to ensure that the vision of the AU is actually actualized for Africa. Now, they're the ones who represent the interests of the AU across Africa and across the world. Now, this year, we had 3 great and very able candidates racing up for this seat of the chairperson of the Africa Union Commission. Now, we had our very own Raila Amolo Odinga, who was the former prime minister of this country. And then we had Richard James Randiamandrato. I got it, yeah. Hey, I did it. And then we had Mohamed Ali Yusuf, who is a former, was being the foreign affairs minister of Djibouti. This guy had so much of experience. Alikuwa amezunguka hii continent sana. All right. Now, moving on. Out of these three, the person who actually made it to the Africa Union Commission chairperson was the former or the foreign affairs minister of Djibouti for over a decade, Mohammed Ali Yusuf, and we really, really wish him well. That was a very, 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 very hard-fought victory. Though we wonder, how come Baba was actually leading for the first 2 or 3 rounds? What happened? Ni nini kilichofanyika? Ethiopia, mulifanya nini? Djibouti, mulifanya nini? Then you remember those guys are athletes, eh? Not to say what they did. So these are very own Raila Amolo Odinga who actually did not make it, but we wish him well. He has a home here. This is his home. Welcome back, Baba. We love you. We will always love you. You are still our Baba. Atakama, you are still our Baba. All right. Now, I wanted to play you a video of how some of us celebrated this win by Baba, but then my machine is actually disappointing me. Just move on. All right. Some people are not very happy with our current president, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, blaming him for the loss of the African Union Commission. Is it true? Ama kuonyeshana barabara vizuri? Ama baba hakuelewa ile njia alikuwa anafaa kufuata? Labda angeenda akipitia pale Djibouti, apitie pale. All right. I mean, for all is said and done, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto did his best. That we cannot deny. He did his best, and he actually made sure that at least we had a worthy contestant. We sent our best to the Africa Union Commission, but they chose their best, which is still okay. Yeah. Now, to help us divert and talk about this topic, kidogo tu, because this has led to the scramble. You know, you have the scramble of Africa, but all of a sudden now in this country, in Kenya, we have the scramble for Baba. We have the scramble for Baba. The opposition want him, which the opposition is Kalonzo and who? The excellent Kalonzo, Eugene, and the former deputy president. But also, I'm not sure if the Azimio Kenya Kwanza, I mean the Kenya Kwanza also want him. Now, to help us talk about this issue, the guest that we have this evening is none other than Jasiel Njau, anaitwa Fathela Ujama. I'm telling you, he's a politician in this country. I don't know if Jasiel, you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Faraji, I can hear you.
Ah, perfect. Jasiel, now,
yes, sir.
Tell us, what do you make of the AU commission results? Was it something that many Kenyans expected?
First and foremost, I want to appreciate your invitation to the inaugural of the weekly report live.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to be the first among the first, the beginning of beginnings. And I know where you're going. Destiny is yet to tell, but we are grateful for that opportunity. Number two, on a lighter note, ni ile barabara alipitia, like you just said. Angeamba pitie huku chini, aende hivi, tupite hapo, unajua. But I can say it was a good run, Faraji.
Yeah.
It was a good run. The problem with any election is that a good run never amounts to anything unless you have won.
Wow.
But all the accolades need to go to Baba for the good run. And also the president, he did his best. Na kama kawaida, Kenyans, we are always vishindo na vigelegele, 100 MPs, MCAs, governors, mbogi yote ya serikali ile ilikuwa huko. We give them all the kudos.
Yeah.
But having said that, Mr. Faraji, I think Baba needs to rest kidogo.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
needs
What
to
do you
rest.
mean? What do you mean he should rest yet? There's actually a scramble for Baba in Kenya right now. I mean, the,
I appreciate, in leadership, there are phases of leadership, right?
yes.
And the phases of leadership, there is a phase where you're the face, and then you have to transition from the face of leadership to the voice of leadership.
Mhm.
And sometimes, if you don't know when to transit, it becomes a problem because it's the same plague that plagues African leaders. We are good entrance, but we are bad at exit. Leave alone being bad, we do not want to accept exit. And the sad thing, we exit by the time we're going to our grave, and instead of us just realizing it's time for you to leave the scene and become a voice. Let's take, for example, the former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I mean, even Atwoli said it. Huyu atasumbua, akona pesa, ni kijana, and they thought he was going to stay around and hang in there in politics, but hey, he had to realize he transitioned from the face of leadership. Now he's a voice for leadership. So when it keeps crumbling for Baba, like you're putting it, that's crumble for Baba. You'll make the guy lose his mojo, and we need him alive. We need him to fight for other liberations. For example, hold Babu's hand or hold Joho's hand,
Mhm.
but don't put Baba in the ring, man. That guy will collapse, and then he'll start saying how we miss him. All I'm saying is he needs to accept the face of leadership that now he's in at 80 is the voice and the voice of leadership, and particularly in agitating for change and reformation.
Mm.
That I can say.
Okay, okay. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Jasiel and Njau, I'm still trying to get
Mm.
your photo to put it up here on the screen. But hold that.
I'm a very handsome man. Just tell your viewers I'm a very handsome man.
Oh,
I know when they see me, they'll give me their votes, not just pimples, but I have what it takes for this country.
yeah, my producer is here, just working on making sure that I have the photo. Please send it to me on the email so that we can have it up on the screen. So hold that thought right there, Jasiel. As we move on to the next story, please remember to mute your mic. Now, moving on. We want to send our deepest condolences to the. We want to send these deepest condolences to the residents, the family of the Baringo senator who lost him to a short illness, and we hope that God gives them the strength to really, really go through this moment of grief. He was a great person, so much passion in education, and that's one thing that the Baringo's residents are really, really going to miss about that. Now, one of the elephant in the rooms, US aid. US aid. Is it USAID or is it USID? USID got shut down by the one and only beloved Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, the X. Yes, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Dodge, shut down that thing. I mean, of course, for various claims that it was leading to a lot of losses in financial losses to the Republic of Americans. But still, the Democrats are not having any of this. They are still working and fighting to make sure that USAID must be saved, right? But I mean, definitely, the USAID has really, really had it had an impact on very many countries across the world, not only in Africa, across the world, helping with healthcare, maternal healthcare, sorting out some things across the world. But right now, there's actually a guy, as you can see over there, who's actually renovating the whole of that building. Elon Musk is not having any of that. He's saying, take down that thing, take down that thing. We ain't having that anymore. Yeah, I mean, so as we say, USAID was really a key player in making sure that countries had access to HIV medication, that is the ARVs. And apart from that, there's that. Many countries also benefited from USA IT with that. This here. Now, some of us are in problems. Not some of us. Some of us are in problems because there's a shortage. There's a shortage of condoms in Kenya. Shortage of condoms in Kenya. We use about 17,000 condoms a day. Hey! Namna huruma. Jasiel, are you still there?
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Yeah. What do you think? What's happening? How are you using 17,000 or 7,000 condoms in one day?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So first and foremost, we need to understand the whole political agenda for the nations of Africa
Yeah.
and US at large. And we need to understand where President Trump is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
By the time he's empowering likes of Elon Musk, in terms of Doge, the likes of JF Kennedy in terms of the health sector,
Yep.
where now they're even going in every department, make America healthy again, make America pray again, make America great again. You need to understand the whole debacle from where it began. Now, you'd have to go back to the Alice Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Alice Bailey, who came up with the 10 principles which need to be adopted by America and then also be adopted by the other nations of the world.
Mm.
Now, first, let's be clear that there is a good bit to the US aid and there's a negative agenda to the US aid.
Mm.
So the people who are suffering are those who are of noble causes, like the ARVs and the likes, all right? But those ones who are making Trump and the team go after them recklessly is because of the New Age agenda,
Mm-hmm.
which came now the Alice Bailey. And the first agenda, for example, was take God and prayer out of the education system, which they succeeded very well in the States until people started realizing that that's an issue. And don't forget that now has been imbibed to the African countries where we were forced to adopt it. Reduce parental authority over children, destroy the Judeo-Christian family structure.
Mm.
If sex is free, then make abortion legal and make it easy. Make homosexuality an alternative lifestyle. Now that, if you remember then, when our former president, the fourth, was being interviewed at CNN,
Yes.
and he was told, what do you think about the LGBTQ, the alphabet?
Yeah.
And the president and the former president said, the fourth, he said, according to us, that is an issue. But they want you to take it down his throat to accept it. So you see, it is a new age agenda that started in the States. And for you to accept the US aid, this has to be part of the regime. I'll never forget my mentor, the late former president of Zambia, the late Frederick Chiluba.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, Jasiel, when you get to the top echelons of leadership, need to understand that the NGOs and all these foreign organizations will be your biggest hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it then. That's over like 15 years ago. But now the new age, even trying to force it upon us in terms of Africa, I understand why the war is starting with Trump, because he wants to put the agenda. The first thing that Trump did when he got to office is to acknowledge male and female as the two genders in the States.
Sorry, Jasiel, I think we've lost you.
I think if I was the president, I should align myself with Trump and begin. And even the former president, again, Uhuru Kenyatta, said the other day, why do you have a problem? I interviewed the great Francis Imbuga. And when I interviewed him, he told me, Jasiel, let me tell you, the decolonization of the body, which we did with independence.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that we still have the decolonization of our minds, which we still rely on them. They are not here, but we rely on them. So we are on the decolonization of the mind and still the decolonization of the spirit, because we want to find our own identity. We want to find our own culture.
Mm-hmm.
We want to find what makes us unique as Africans, what makes us unique as Kenyans, so that we don't import in the context of aid, these foreign cultures which we are being imbibed upon. So for me, I pity the genuine cases which are being affected by US aid, but it is to the detriment, the decadence that has gone on within this godlessness in terms of governance, that now we have to correct it from a political standpoint of view. And that is why we need leaders who can actually vouch and say we need to bring back the so-called tenets, the family structure, the man and woman, and forget this alternative lifestyle that has been created. So for me, it's a win-win per se. When you see what the US aid is what Trump is doing, and like I said, it's a golden era. We are waiting to see what will happen, but I stand with that.
Let me ask you, what do you make of the ones who are now actually losing their jobs? We have about 40,000 people who have lost their jobs in Kenya only. We not only mentioned the Africa and other people from across the world. What do we say? What happens?
That's why I'm saying. You remember, Trump is still the same person who said we are going to take care of our own money. You guys find solutions and put your leaders to task. That's where we are now, where if those in leadership don't have an awakening and sit down and begin to see how can we help our nation, because I think what lacks in our leadership, President Moi said it, we have too many politicians, but we lack leaders in the political realm. And a politician wins an election, but a leader affects a generation. If you can't sit down and think about those who have been affected, then you have no use or betterness in terms of political leadership. So the 40,000 who do not have a job, then that warrants the president, the cabinet, all these guys to sit down and begin to inquire, what should we do about this? And former President Uhuru Kenyatta said it well. You guys need to sit down and ask yourselves, what are you going to do about this? All right? And please, if we magnify this problem, which I see it as detrimental, there are people who are being used who do not know they're being used. For example, a few years ago, I had the opportunity to meet some of these people who work in the US aid, and I remember they gave me a statistic where their target was to go to high school, and they needed certain guys in high school. And the lady was now confiding in me saying, Jasiel, I don't understand, why are they driving us to high school? But they have no idea, and they have no agenda, because it's not something that is espoused for everyone to know what they're doing. But they know what they're targeting when they go to high schools. And when you do your research well, like particularly in Kenya, when they traversed and talked to people, that's the foundation of all these alternative lifestyles. So even the US aids, they are forcing our very own people unknown to them to recruit people, and they do not know, and they're given certain targets, certain part games. So I think now it's a wake-up call. And to the 40,000, they still, I believe that this government needs to wake up. And, you know, I don't think we finished the AU, but let me say this. When you find our government, tumendana mbogia watu 100, and the guy we are competing with has just gone with the president and I think one of the foreign minister, and that's we've gone 100, my friend. You know that money would have helped 40,000 people who are jobless.
No, but they say they actually sponsor themselves. For example, the Kenyan Parliament actually gave a statement that they only sponsor the four legislatures. The rest,
this is how we have come.
The rest sponsor themselves.
Yeah, I love the way they said it. This far we have come. We now know. This far we have come. We now know.
Kenyans, just hold that thought. Moving on. I mean, she just said a politician. Anyway, is in crisis. Congo is in problems. Crisis that has gone on for over 30 years right now. I mean, of course, other people are blaming Rwanda for the same. Other people are blaming the very same government, DRC government, for the same. But all the same, we actually really hope that Congo gets out of this problem as soon as possible. And I mean, just to mention, probably the new AUC commission chair and his team are probably going to have more, probably say more radical, or more, or rather strong resolutions to make sure that such crisis ends in Africa. Because right now there are so many people who are actually displaced, internally displaced. Some of them have actually run to Rwanda, some to other countries, but the rest, the number of the ones who are internally issued. Now, on to our next story. As you can see, the Kenyan parliament last week, we had a very heated debate about who is the majority in the Kenyan, gave a decision stating that Azimio One Kenya Alliance was actually the majority in the House, and Kenya Kwanza was actually the minority in the Kenyan parliament. However, that sparked so much of debate as to really who was the majority, and this judgment came out. Did it consider the time that it was actually where the issue was, or it was actually as at now? So that was the issue that was there last week, and I love it when Junet Mohammed actually stated and said very well that he actually enjoyed the seat of majority leader Imani Chungwa, that it was very warm. My machine is just really messing up, but I really wish that you watched this video. But then now, the person or the man under siege or under siege is the one's Speaker Papa Waroma, Right Honorable Moses Wetangula. But is he under the fire rightfully so, or he just did what he had to do? What if it were you? Just let's get very honest. What if it were you? Yeah? Are you going to declare them Azimio One Kenya Alliance the majority? Jasiel, I don't know if you're still there.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, what if the courts were actually fine, correct, they followed the law, and then Papa Waroma, Right Honorable Moses Wetangula, went ahead and actually had the court order stay to say that the Azimio One Kenya was actually the majority? What do you think would have happened politically?
I'll tell you this for free. I think President Ruto has a personal vendetta to sort with Wetangula. And really? I will take you back to when this government came into being. When he was handed over the speaker's position, the next thing was for him to relinquish his seat back in Western. And all of a sudden, immediately, without much further ado, President William Ruto already had a candidate for UDA in his backyard. And so Papa Waroma had to go back and defend his seat with Ford Kenya, because he knew if a UDA candidate came in, his goose is cooked. So when you look at Papa Waroma and Mudavadi folded and went into UDA.
Yeah.
But Papa Waroma wants to stick to his own party. So for me, I see this as behind the deal between President Ruto and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Let's do away with these guys. So either way, he has to sit there and defend Kenya Kwanza is the majority. But the way things are going, once he's out, because he did not toe the line, you need to understand President Ruto is a ruthless political guy. So if you're not in line with him, he will do away with you. So for me, that's where I'm seeing where this battle is going. If people check that from the background of the story I've just told you, you'll be able to understand that he's the next guy who's going to go outside. And Baba is not going anywhere. Baba is going to be like our prime minister.
But
They will
let me
find a
ask you.
seat for him to reward him,
Let me ask
and
you,
they will
Jasiel.
find another speaker there. So this is Pentagon. Congratulations, Pentagon. You have done it once again.
Let me ask you, Jasiel. In the
Yeah.
spirit of broad-based government, all
Mm,
right?
mm,
And I mean,
mm.
remember, broad-based government means everyone is coming in. So do you think,
Inclusivity.
I mean, including Papa Roma, he's also in. I mean, so do you think really, ODM and actually as the Neo and Kenya Alliance just going to sit back and watch what that happened to Papa Roma?
In Africa, in Africa, if your wife, if your,
Yeah.
they say there are two quotes I'll give you. If you're going to marry a widow, it will be important for you to know why did the husband die.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
number two, if your wife does not appreciate you and you marry another wife, you find the first wife humbles in herself early enough because she realizes we have enough competition.
Mhm.
So what President Ruto just did is an African move. He just went to Baba, brought Baba in.
Mhm.
Who has the numbers? Papa Roma for Kenya. Who will defend you
Okay.
in the context of broad-based government? There is an agenda we are sorting. There is something we are bringing together, but you refuse to fold to join UDA. So why should I bring you in? That's the question. Why should I bring you in? You've already shown me you do not have enough trust to to fold your party and join me as the president of the republic. And President Ruto has taught us very well that you have to toe the line. And I tell you, the
Mm.
next government that will come in, we have learned we need numbers in parliament. You need to toe the line. And if we can have an agenda of the people of Kenya, we will push bills that will do towards that. So broad-based government is just another handshake, but 2.0.
But let me ask you. um, the leader of minority, Honorable Junet
Mm,
Mohammed, was not very amused by the
mm,
decision that Papa Roma made to
mm,
actually say that Kenya Kwanza was actually the majority in the House.
mm,
And in quoting his
mm,
words, and also
mm,
quoting Junet's words, who actually
mm,
quoted Papa Roma's words
mm,
back then,
mm,
where he
mm,
said there will be casualties, yeah? It will be
mm.
messy, it will
Messy.
be loud, and there will be casualties.
Mm.
So now, will Honorable Raila Odinga be really risking so much in trying to really force this broad-based government to work? Remember, not all ODM MPs are actually on board. We have the likes of Babu Owino, who has not really been supportive of this. We have the likes of, who's actually the party leader, the acting party leader right now, the governor of Kisumu, Anyang' Nyong'o, who is not really also really supporting this. They actually come out and say it very clearly that there is no agreement between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio One Kenya Alliance.
Now, there's no risk Baba is doing. Baba is actually enjoying. That's the thing people need to understand. Baba is home. Okay? There's no
Okay.
risk. Wetangula is crying wolf. It's like a wife who has been married, working with a certificate saying, I am the wife, here's my certificate to show. I am the wife. My friend, don't shout with your certificate. If you're the wife, we will know when the husband stays. All
Okay.
right? And I need to bring you also to point. Are you aware that those two, Junet and Ishunga, were to go on media last week, but they were summoned to State House and they didn't show up? Why? Because broad-based is between Ruto and Raila. That
All
is
right.
broad-based, right?
No.
And now you've brought the issue of Babu. The fact that he did not draw the line with Baba, what happened the other day during the prayers? Baba said, my guy is Sakaja for Nairobi. You have just, Babu is going to start the campaign on 3-0 point. So he's going to make sure that he will deal with Babu and diminish him because he's not towing the line with the broad based.
Hold,
So in
hold,
this
hold it,
case,
hold it, hold it, hold it, Jasiel, please. Hold it
yeah,
right there. Hold it right there. Talking about
yeah,
Babu, or the MP of Embakasi. Now we move on to Nairobi City County, the city under the sun. But according to very many Nairobians, the sun is not shining very nice on this city these days. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Ile jua iko hapo inapiga vibaya tena sana, inawanyorosha. The scramble for city has become really, really upgraded. We have Honorable Babu, who has really been throwing jabs at the current governor of Nairobi, Governor Johnson Sakaja. And Johnson Sakaja has also been working very hard to make sure that he's safe. He's very, very safe. As you see in that photo over there, huyu ni kijana na baba yake. Wana consult, wanaangalia maisha ya mbele. And even Raila himself came and said, the city is amewacha kwa mikono ya jana yake ambayo ni the current governor Johnson Sakaja. And Honorable Babu is not a very, very happy person because of that. Now, let me ask you, Jasiel, we have Johnson Sakaja, Babu Owino, and we have the current MP for Westlands, Honorable Tim Wanyonyi, who in the last election was actually requested to step down because he really, really wanted to vie for the Nairobi gubernatorial seat. What do you make of the future of Nairobi politics now that Honorable Raila Odinga endorsed Johnson Sakaja?
You failed to mention two candidates.
Eh?
You have also Gakuya.
Oh yes, yes.
James Gakuya, MP, Embakasi North.
Yes.
Who I think will be waiting for the Wamunyoro party. And then you have Kagore, who ran for Jubilee last time. But now, because we are addressing the Babu factor,
yeah,
it was Raila who said years ago, he said that the city under the sun has become cheat. It was his words. And when you look at Babu is a leader who believes it's his time to go to the next level. But because he does not... Huh?
Is it not his time to go to the next level?
If you're going to marry at 30 or 25 or 45, it is your time.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But Baba does not see that. Baba does not see that. If there's anybody who has benefited from the broad-based government, is Johnson Sakaja. Alivuka sakafu kwa mwendo wa aste, akaunga mkono wa Baba. Because had it been still in UDA, right now he would be impeached. Like through the line with Baba, he's going to... He has another life saved, like the cat which has 9 lives. So by Baba coming in between the race of Babu and Sakaja, it is clear indication, if you don't toe the line, I support your enemy. Now, where does that leave Babu? With all the influence, with all the machinations he has, Babu is only left to join people like us. We start a movement in this country that will bring us into inclusivity. Because if he goes alone, hataweza hapo. So it's now the likes of Dindi Nyoro, we come together. We make a proclamation, we stand together and see and chart the way forward for this country. But if Babu goes alone against Baba, nobody makes it in ODM who goes against Baba. Do your homework, check it out. Nobody. And if you know, mention me a name right now.
So what do you think? What do you think Babu should do? I mean, he wants to go
Babu
to the next
join
level.
like-minded. He should join like-minded people. And that movement should be a national movement, not county. A national movement that will even bring a national voice, because
so does he join Wamunyoro?
I like what he said the other day, why he didn't join the Wamunyoro vote to kick him out, because he didn't see any wrong with that. You already have a problem with Baba. the onset, because you didn't toe the line of agitate a new party, a new political outfit that will go national, bring all the youths to this party, dictate the future of this party, and even probably that will be the party that will come up with the president. You'll be the next probably cabinet secretary or one of the national offices. But right now his goose is cooked for Nairobi because Baba will campaign against him. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
All right. Hold that thought, Jasiel.
Yeah.
Moving on. Um, okay. That was actually my friend Gaucho, who actually felt like the endorsement of Johnson Sakaja. This was actually Gaucho. It's just that I can't play this video, but he actually stated that the endorsement of Johnson Sakaja was not really real. Was not real. Was not real. Well, you should find that out. Was not real. He said the people who believe that Baba actually endorsed Johnson Sakaja, they really do not know who Baba is. In his words, he said, today you go to Baba, and on that day you fail to see Raila. And then when you go and meet Raila Odinga, you fail to meet Tinga. When you go and meet Tinga, then you fail to meet Jacob. Then when you meet Jacob, you fail to meet, he mentioned so many words, all those words, and Baba's words. Anyway, that is his opinion. Let's see what happens. The elections are still so far away, but I mean, in this country right now, we're already in an election year. The pressure is still pounding like nobody's business. Moving on, we hope that this is going to, we're hoping that the orange shall not be split by the pressure that is actually being experienced right now in the broad-based government and within ODM party. This week, or rather just the week that just passed, we had Valentine's, and Nairobians, manze, they really showed up for Valentine's, really celebrated love in a very big way. And one of our guys, Willie Paul Musafi, had a very great concert, which was actually supposed to happen at KCC. I think for one reason or the other, it did not happen at KCC. And it was taken down to the other place along Mombasa Road. Well, it was a good show. I actually got to take a look at that. It was a very great show. And at least with that, they finally buried their hatchet katikati yake na Bahati. But was there a beef really? What were they beefing over? I don't think there was a beef. Just kelele tu. Kipindi. But anyway. Guys, moving on to our history segment. Now, the flag that you can see right here is actually the flag of Vietnam. Let me just have a full screen for you. This is a flag of Vietnam, and today in history, after the Vietnam War, Vietnam bolstered its ties with the Soviet Union rather than with China. And following a series of anti-Chinese pro-Soviet maneuvers by Vietnam, China invaded its southern neighbor on this day in 1979. This conflict is commonly referred to as the Sino-Vietnamese War and was triggered by Vietnam's invasion of Cambodia, which had been by China. Now, if you didn't know, now you know. Jasiel, I'm very sure you do not know about that today in history.
Al Haba.
All right, Jasiel, please give us your parting shots. Give us the parting shots as we come to the end of the show today.
First and foremost, congratulations. The baby has been born. I was there. I witnessed the crying. I witnessed the celebration. Congratulations.
Thank you so
Second
much.
of all, it's time for Waire sang a song and said there's an uprising, and it was clearly stipulated last year. My take to the Gen Zs, the only way to come into leadership is through the vote, and the vote will sustain democracy. So it's time for guys to go and get their votes up, and by 2027, a movement needs to be championed and for the sake of the newness that's going to begin, that will culminate in 2032. We made the statement in the streets. We can make a statement in the ballot come 2027. Other than that, to everyone watching from the African diaspora, this is Jasiel Njau Fathela, and you ain't seen the last of him. Watch the weekly report, get to know more as it pertains to his life. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Jasiel Njau, our guest for today, and helping us talk about and discuss all the topics that we had for this episode of the weekly report live. Now, this will be happening every Mondays and Fridays right here on this YouTube channel, Faraji Media KE. Please subscribe. Please talk to us. Let us know what you feel, what you think, what you can add to the show to make the show even more exciting to you. Remember, we are here simply to impact your life, to talk, to have a conversation, and get to know where the country is headed, where Africa is headed, and where the whole world is headed, and what we have to do to play a part to make the world a better place. This is the weekly report live with me, Faraji Kevin. Until next time, subscribe, like, share. Tupatane on Friday. Kuwa na wiki njema. Tujibambe. God bless.